Hold on tight for the next hour. You're entering into a place, a zone called the alternative to the alternative media. It's a place, a special place where even truth seekers fear to tread.
All right, people, let's move like we've got a purpose.
Affirmative.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, clowns of the New World Order, and everybody else who chooses to listen to this show, welcome. Greg Anthony here. Yes, here. But you must declare your sex on your birth certificate before you listen to the show, and you can't change it within 60 minutes. Do you understand what I'm saying? Don't give me a comment on YouTube like, I was a boy when I started the show, but I changed to be a girl. Greg Anthony here. A lot of news. What a travesty. This country, to me, reminds me of a vaudeville play. You know, most of you don't know what vaudeville is. But it's a bad vaudeville show because back in the old days, nobody even knew what the internet was. You didn't have movies. You went to see people perform. And that's what you're seeing in Washington. A really bad performance. I mean, it gets so bad that now after 2 years, $25 million, 500 witness interviews, 300 search warrants, 2,800 other things. That's what they talk about this investigation into Trump collusion with Russia. You know what the special prosecutor said? There was no collusion, and as far as obstruction, I can't make a decision on that. What the hell are you paying this guy for? Take away half his salary first, because a prosecutor's job is to make a decision. Not to say, oh, I don't know. You know, either yes or no. Then he hands it off, throws the football to the Attorney General, and guess what? The Attorney General says, yeah, there's no obstruction. Well, let's look at the nexus here, and I'm going to give you a little legal experience. If you do not have collusion, which, first of all, isn't even a crime, unless you really show some intent, and then it gets into a different category of crime. And then you got obstruction. You can't have obstruction if there's no collusion. So there's no nexus between the alleged offense by Trump and obstruction of justice, which the Democrats are like going crazy over. I mean, we got senators in Congress and all of these journalists. So I'm going to get into this in a minute. This is so rich that we have to talk about it because I think they think American people are stupid. And let me explain why. We have people that are ingrained through CNN and everything. You've heard for 2.5 years that Trump is a traitor, he's this, he's that, which means American people are traitors who supported him. And of course now there's none. It's not there. So guess what happens? Senators, congressmen on the Democratic side do not accept it. They're making it up again. So they say, well, yeah, if it isn't here, we're going to find it. They're not going to find anything. All they're doing is relying on CNN and MSNBC, who've been spreading these, what they are really lies, had no evidence. And I'm not a Trump supporter. I'm a supporter of a person being given the if you are going to prosecute somebody, you better have evidence. It's called you're innocent to proven guilty. I don't care if you're a president or if you're a homeless guy on the street. There's really no difference. So listen to what's happening now. And what's really rich, like I said earlier, is that The people that have been elected as Democrats come from places where they don't care about facts. They don't care about anything just to get their own little way. Their way, that's the way it is. It's like a child. If I can't have my farina in the morning, I'm going to kill you, you know. And that's exactly what they're like. Because, look, everybody wins and loses in life. Take a break. Mount a bit of evidence that's, first of all, credible, which all of this has been a lie for 2 years, cost the American taxpayers $25 million, which is nothing new. I mean, how much did this guy Bob Mueller get, this special prosecutor? And then he comes up, there's two things here he had to deal with. Collusion, which, first of all, you can collude with people and it's not a crime. Secondly, obstruction. So he says, oh, well, Trump and nobody was colluding, but we can't exonerate him on obstruction. I mean, if I was a second-year law student, I would say, prosecutor, give back half of your money because you didn't do a job. You either say up or down, you know, just like the Roman emperor. That's all they do. Oh, we didn't have enough evidence. We did have enough evidence to prosecute. Simple as that. That's a prosecutor's job. But in the world we live in today, which is a bizarro world, what that little sentence when he said, we did not have enough evidence, but we can't exonerate, means this thing can go on forever. That's what they want. Because they don't want to do anything. You know, just argue and argue over stupid things. And the American people are buying it because half the country has been sold a bill of goods by CNN and MSNBC. And the first time, I've been watching all of them. And I watch Fox News. And occasionally I tell you I have to do this for my job as a journalist. But Fox News is a little bit more credible. Really, they are. If you don't understand what I'm going to say in a minute, than CNN. So for the average American, they're going to, even if you're a liberal, the only way you're not going to like Trump is because you've been sold a bill of goods that the world, he's a bully, he speaks terribly, he's not politically correct. And here's the point. That's what they want. Americans have been dumbed down to the facts, the rule of law, they don't even know. It doesn't matter. It's just what they feel, what they hear. And they'll be, have you ever been driving down an old country road and all of a sudden, and I did this many times in rural areas, and you see a sheep herder or a cow farmer herding a bunch of sheep across the road? That's what American people are like. And if you have this idea that you want to save the world by getting rid of plastic, you're going to be on the side of the Democrats. If you have this idea like you'd like to be a strong American, then you're going to be on the side of Ronald Reagan, John Wayne, and Donald Trump. And Greg Anthony. And Al Pacino. I like Al Pacino because he doesn't really say anything in politics. He knows his role. He does. Remember Dog Day Afternoon? But anyway, let's get back to the point. They have the point. Good dogs. Tell them the point. I have to translate that, what they just said. You know what they said? Get me the hell out of America. I can't stand these. I'm not going to be a socialist dog. Can you imagine dogs being socialists? Think about it. You got 10 dogs, right? and their master leaves to go for a nice brunch or something. And he decides to leave the food rations up to the big dog. You know, the big Alaskan Malamute. And there's 5 other ones, or 10 other ones with him. And he says, "My dear dogs, I am going to distribute each food to you so that it's equal, and I'm going to put it out here." One dog's going, "Hey, listen, I'm used to this serving." The other dog's going, "I always get this from my master. Don't give me, you know." And the other dog goes, "If he's so little, he can't eat." So he says, "I'll never get anything. How can you be this way? I want my master back." And the big dog says, "It's time to be a socialist. Everybody gets equal rations." So he hands out 2 pieces of kibble to each dog, and they go away with their heads hanging low. Until, guess who returns? The master of the house, the leader of the world, has come back to save the world and to capitalism. And he talks to the Malamute and says, "Hey, how'd the feeding go?" "Well, I gave each one 2 kibbles." You know, what'd you eat?" "I ate the whole bag." Guess what? Socialism. And he takes that big Malamute and he says, "You will never do that again. I'm putting sanctions on you. You're not eating for 5 days. And if you continue this, I'm throwing you out in the street." And guess what happens? The big Malamute says, "I agree. Capitalism is better." So the master of the house, the leader of the pack, comes in and says to his other faithful companions, "I am sorry for leaving you alone with a tyrant like this. Now we are going to get back to the normal schedule." And they all go, "Roar." And so he feeds them accordingly. They go on and have a happy life. And so I've really showed you how capitalism is better than socialism in a couple minutes. Okay, so we all know, if you've lived in a capitalist country like America for more than 6 months, it's better than living in Venezuela or Cuba, etc., etc. That's why everybody wants to come here. So now we got these idiots in Congress and in the Senate going, "We need to go to socialism." And I'm sitting here going, what is this all about? Well, let me explain it to you real quickly. This is a campaign to turn this country into a globalist country that only American people can stop. Can you stop it? You got to understand 1 or 2 things here. 1, Trump is not on your side in the end, although he is the vanguard of the Republican Party now. And secondly, you have a group of people behind the scenes pushing this socialist agenda, and I say they come from Georgetown University and the Vatican. And the reason I say that is because the Vatican wanted to get into this country years ago, hundreds of years ago, prior to me being alive, you being alive. And we haven't done our homework to understand this insidious thing going on. Why do you think our journalistic profession has turned out to be this way? I remember during the Watergate era, when I wanted to be a journalist, and the reason I did, I was naive and young, but I said, man, if you have the power of the pen, you can change things. And man, I'm stupid, I'm a kid, but I can learn. And I did learn one thing. 1, I learned how to write, learned how to do a good story. Thirdly, I learned how to read backwards so that politician, I'd be sitting at their desk I could read backwards. And fourthly, I learned this, that the whole thing was a bunch of bullshit when I went to Rome and really understood the power behind the scenes. And God, I didn't know that. It was like the luck of the Irish, and I'm Polish, you know. I got to be in a place to really understand what's going on without having to put my neck on the line, you know. I was just kind of like a third-party observer going, wow, the Vatican is pretty corrupt. They're pretty snily. They smile on the outside, and man, what do they do on the inside? And when you started finding out, your head spins. And the only way they get away with it is deception. And it's going on in this country right now. I see it, you know, I kind of close my eyes sometimes and I see what's going on and I go, do I really see what others see? And so, with my eyes closed now, let me tell you what I see. I see behind the scenes the Jesuits, the Vatican pulling the strings to get what they finally want, a fascist country. They don't do it through killing everybody like they did in the Crusades, but they do it through deception, through ignorance, through controlling education and making everyone ignorant to history. And what they do is, if you think, and my eyes are still closed, that what the Democrats did by saying for 2 years that Trump was a traitor should be apologized for. You're never going to get the Jesuits and the Vatican to apologize for hundreds of years of deception and killing. So you think these guys are going to apologize? Wow. You guys who think America can be overturned right now because Trump got a, thumbs up for no collusion, you think you're out of the woods? Forget about it. This is just the beginning of an onslaught of anybody who really feels America should remain as it is. Because the Vatican's government of choice is fascism. The Jesuits created communism, socialism. You got people in Congress now pushing Sharia law, and also Ocasio-Cortez, that young 29-year-old girl, pushing what? Socialism. Then you get every Democratic presidential nominee now. And the reason they want like 20, 30 of them is so they can spread their little bullshit all over the place. And that's all democratic socialism. So that is Jesuit influenced. And if you don't think they get their way, look at Spain, look at France, look at all these countries over the centuries who've been overturned. Look at what happened to Russia. Look at what's going on in China. Did you know the Jesuits were in China in the 16th century, right after Loyola created them, and they were right there in they came over in their black robes and they went in to the halls of China to learn Chinese and then to be consultants of the emperors. Yeah, they've been there for years. And don't you think that the Vatican, everyone overlooks this. They have over 200 concordats, contracts with countries all over the world. So if you don't think they're an important instrument in this world, then you've got another thing coming, Giuseppe. Now, how are we going to solve this problem? I think you solve it one way. One, you understand it. Two, you begin to speak about it. And three, you don't listen to the Knesset, the Congress, the I do it for theatrical reasons because I find it to be theatrically interesting. It's like what I always called the greatest show on earth. Every day you get it, And then you get their publicists like Sean Hannity on the left, Tucker Carlson on the left. You get, Rachel Maddow, Matthews on the right. I mean, it's a real fun thing to watch when you look at it that way. But what I want to mention to you is this. Seriously. Do we have the ability to understand it, comprehend it, take our belief system and turn it around? Because that's what they've done to you. Because, see, the Jesuits know you are what you believe. And if they get you to believe the wrong things, you're in deep trouble. So first of all, you got to wipe away all your beliefs and start over. Kind of like, you remember when you go up to the blackboard and you just wipe it clean and you start all over again? That's what you got to do. And then you write on that blackboard, number 1, what is most important? To understand history, but not history told by corporate America, Jesuits, everyone that's giving you all of this garbage. And you gotta do that. It's kind of like a case history. Why have you been deceived? Do a case history into it. Change that belief system. And during that period of time, your belief system will go haywire. You'll be here, you'll be there. It's kind of like a clock going all different directions. But in the end, you will understand one thing. You are not a product of your beliefs. You are a product of the truth of yourself. So, get that out of your head. This belief thing is going to save you. And I've met so many people, and I get really upset sometimes because they don't want to look at the facts. They don't want to look at the truth. All they say is, well, I found God, I believe that, that's where I am. Okay. I think it's a cop-out. I really do. Because I'm not saying faith is important. I'm not saying it's not important. I'm saying it's a cop-out at times for really understanding that beliefs are not what they're meant to be, are not what they're cut out to be. It's what you know. And once you can say, hey, I know God. I know where He's at. I know I'm going there. I'm going there through the things I read in the Bible. Then it's fine with me. Knowing. How do you know? Well, I woke up this morning. It's pretty simple. And I saw a tree. I know the tree is there. I don't have to believe it. Now, if you wake up and you look on the internet and you see a tree, you got to believe it's there. You know why? Because you haven't seen it. You don't know if it's like photoshopped or something, right? So the point I'm trying to make is, knowing is seeing. And how do you see? You see clearly only through factual debate, through looking at everything through a lens that is so specific that you will know when you know God. It has nothing to do with beliefs. It's just me, folks, and I'm by no means a person you should take advice from when it comes to faith. Just my thoughts. Back in 3 minutes on the investment.
The book of Revelation says, the spirit of prophecy is the testimony of Jesus Christ. This is at the very heart of FirstAmendmentRadio.com. In that spirit, we have created the Prophecy Reality News app for all of your mobile devices, streaming First Amendment Radio 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Available for your Apple, Android device, and smartphone, absolutely free. Get the Prophecy Reality News app installed today. so you can listen to First Amendment Radio wherever you are. The Prophecy Reality News app. Get it now.
Visit crosstheborder.org, CROSS, crosstheborder.org, to get your print, EPUB, or PDF version of Nicholas Arthur's new book titled When the Third Temple is Built. That's crosstheborder.org. When it comes to prophecy today, much of the evangelical Christian world has their eyes on Israel, waiting and watching to see when the third temple will begin to be built. The plans are drawn, the Jewish people are eager. Most evangelical Christians today believe that the rapture will happen before the third temple is built. Hi, I'm Michael Eugene. I was taught that Daniel's 70th week was in the future. Is that really what the Bible teaches? Have we searched the scriptures and found this to be true? Why is it so important for a re-established Israel to build a third temple in Jerusalem? Is it necessary to build a temple on the same location already occupied by the Dome of the Rock? Is it necessary for sacrifices to take place in the temple on Temple Mount? Is there really a rapture followed by 7 years of tribulation? What is the New Testament temple? Can we identify history and prophecy? Who is the first beast in Revelation chapter 13? Who are the 7 kings in Revelation 17? I have asked all these questions, and I have found Nicholas Arthur's new book, When the Third Temple is Built, answers all these questions and more using Scripture to interpret Scripture. The Bible says that no prophecy of Scripture is of any private interpretation. Nicholas shows us in his new book, When the Third Temple is Built, how the Bible interprets prophecy and not man's private interpretation. Visit crosstheborder.org, CROSS, crosstheborder.org, to get your print, EPUB, or PDF version of Nicholas Arthur's new book titled When the Third Temple is Built. That's crosstheborder.org.
The following program is labeled dangerous and off limits by the supreme Jesuit command. But stand tall, people. Listen up, and you may just learn something.
Oh, dear Lord Jesus, this ain't happening, man. This can't be happening, man. This isn't happening.
Okay, boys and girls, wow. What a first half hour. We decided about belief systems and facts and all these things that are seem so difficult and lead people into quandaries when it's really simple. So simple, and I don't know why the world is the way it is. But anyway, go back to that first half hour. Greg Anthony here, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen. Those of you who think you can listen to this show and change your sex during it, get off right now. You can't do it. You know, that's one of the issues I've always wondered about. You ever see what's happening in sports today? You got these guys who think they're girls, so they go into girls' sports and they win trophies, and the girls are going, that's not fair. Well, sure it's not. Look at your birth certificate. That's what you are. And on the very short days that we have on this earth, just please don't try to change your sex. I mean, that's ridiculous. That is the equivalent of waking up one morning and going, oh my God, I hate myself. I'll kill myself. You know, why? I mean, why does a person hate himself? It's a very simple reason. They really have not understood one simple thing. Just learn to play the guitar. Do something. And I say that simply. Anything. Anytime I was hating myself, you know what I did? I played the guitar. And I never wanted to kill myself. Everyone can learn to play the guitar. I learned, you can learn, and the world can learn. And you know what? We can defeat the Jesuits that way. Yeah. Just do your thing. Don't care about them. Don't care about Donald Trump. You got a world that is so beautiful before you. It's not even funny. And I know I sound a little bit altruistic, but that's the way it has to be sometimes. And let me explain to you, because in these first 6 or 7 minutes, I promise in the last segment I'll get serious. Most people don't know I was a DJ also in my life. I spent several years doing, I just tossed records and worked on several, FM stations in New Mexico and places like that, and loved it because I could sit there for 6 hours, listen to music, talk like I always do about nothing, and be happy. And when you really think about it, isn't that important? Am I here to change the world? No. I'm here to do one thing, understand myself and enjoy myself. And I want to enjoy you too. So what I thought to do, and I've done this before, I get in this mood, and so I start playing some of my favorite songs because I'm an old DJ, but then I found that YouTube blocks anything now. You can't play, Willie Nelson or Merle Haggard or the Beatles or some of my favorite people, because then they block the video saying you haven't paid for it, as if these guys need the money, I don't know who's getting it, ASCAP or whatever. So I'm in that mood. So what I decided to do was to play it myself. Now, I'm not doing it for entertainment purposes and don't want to be a rock star, but I want to do it for one reason, to show you that it calms the nerves. It makes you feel like you're a human being. Hey, I can pick up a guitar, I can play a song. My God, that's an accomplishment. How simple and easy it may seem, it's fun. And sometimes in life, it has to be that way. All right, so I got it. Yeah. Okay, folks, now, throughout the years, occasionally, if you've been at my house or certain private parties, since the time I was 19 or 15 till now, I do songs that kind of are appropriate of my age. And I do them to keep away evil spirits, the Jesuits, all that kind of crap. Because sometimes you just... Boy, that was a bad one. You just got to do it, right? And I know if I wanted to play the guy who wrote this song, they would not allow the video to go on. So I'm going to play it myself. And see whether at the end of it I'm happier, and you, I'm sure, will go, wow, Greg believes in the flat earth and he plays the guitar. He must be crazy. Here we go. You had your run. Oh, it's been a good one. Seems like the world is passing you by. Oh, Father Time, oh, he just keeps on ticking. Still got a lot of life and some more to sing. Hey, you fell in love back in the day. Can't forget her face, oh, I can't remember her name. She was beauty, a shining star. Just when you weren't looking, she broke your heart. Hey, you've been down, oh, every highway, burned your share of bridges. Oh, you found forgiveness, and you think, oh, you're still a young bull rider, till you look in the mirror, see an old timer. An old timer, yeah, that's why I feel an old timer. You know, I had an uncle one time. Let me tell you about him, Uncle Chester. I remember my favorite uncle from my mom's side told me once. I said, Uncle Chet, I saw you when you were a young guy and you look old now. How do you deal with it? He said, don't look in the mirror. So, that's enough of the guitar. Although I probably could play for like 10 hours now. But wise men say only fools rush in. Okay, man, remember Elvis? God. What a voice. I mean, every time I pick the guitar up, I've done that song many times. Wise men say only fools rush in, but I can't help falling in love with you. Tried a little octave difference there. Like a river flows only to the sea, darling, don't you know, some things are meant to be. Yeah, take my hand, take my whole life too, for I can't help falling in love with... Okay, I can't hit that note. All right. Just a lot of fun. Sometimes on the Investigative Journal. How do you follow that act? Can you imagine if you were following that act? What are you going to say? You're following your own act, right? Well, anyway, most people come to this show to learn a little bit about the Jesuits and everything. And I've tried to do that over the years. And God knows I've spent years and years researching it. And every time something happens in the world, I see a connection between them and what's going on. Let's take Israel right now. Do you know now they're, Trump says, Golan Heights, the Golan, the Gaza Strip, is now officially recognized as Israel. So immediately after he says that, we got bombs coming from Hamas, bombs going from Israel. But, that's typical. What we need to do is understand behind the Israeli situation. I don't really think Israel should have ever been put there, to be honest with you. How many Jews live all over the world? I mean, my goodness. Why did, they want their own little... Look, I always said if the Jews want their own country, and I'm half Jewish, put me somewhere like in New Zealand or something. Don't put me in the middle of all these Arabs and want to kill me, And God knows I don't make that distinction because I hate the Jews or anything. I'm half Jewish. It's stupid when you start looking at what happened in 1940, 46 and 47, when they decided to carve out Israel. That was like carving out war. And one of our first big assassinations in the world was a guy by the name of James Forrestal. He was either, Secretary of Defense, Secretary of State, something. He opposed it for these very same reasons, and somehow he was committed to a hospital and he jumped out of a window. Because he had solid reasons. Don't put Israel in the middle of 1 million Arabs. Hey, we could take part of Australia. Hell, let's give them Rhode Island. I mean, what the hell? Or I'll even say this. My country, Poland, I'd love to carve out a little place. We'll call it Israel. But they say no. We got to go back to our homeland. That was the biggest crock I ever heard in my life. Because there is no homeland anymore in the world. Everybody goes everywhere. Even in 1947. And I don't think God would give a damn if Israel said, hey, listen, just because we had this land over here doesn't mean we have to be there. Okay, we'll share it. You know, all you socialists out, we'll share. And we'll just move our people to, I don't know, we'll take a part of Poland. Why not? There were 3 million Jews living in Warsaw when Hitler decided to kill them all. I don't see the problem. I think they were put there to create war. And that's why the Vatican and all these creeps ought to be outed for this bullshit. It's real simple. Oh, hey, I'm living in America, but I was born in Poland, but I think I'm going back to my home country. Yeah, right. There is no home country anymore. You live in a world where you become like a citizen because of where your parents went. And if they're half Jewish, they were kicked out of Germany. And so all of a sudden in 1945, you got to have Jerusalem. You got to have Jews, the Jewish state. No. Put the Jews in the middle of 1 million Muslims, and what are you going to get? What you got now. I would never have done that. Mr. Forrestal was killed for it back in 1947. And if you check my facts out, you'll see he supposedly jumped out of a 10th floor Washington hospital. He was one of our top, cabinet members during that period of time because he was insane. Yeah, right. They drugged him. The CIA drugged him, pushed him out the window. So now we got more conflicts in Israel. Don't you get the Jesuit Vatican plan here? It's pretty simple. Destroy anything they get their hands on. And then turn it into their own little profit-making business. That's exactly what they do. And they turned America into a profit-making business for them. Now they want to take their profits, turn it into socialism, destroy it, then return and get it again. Like they've done in Mexico, Colombia. How many Latin American and South American countries I have to mention? Look what's going on in Venezuela. I don't know if you guys know, but I have some friends in Venezuela because I'm a traveling man. And let me tell you, I don't believe what I hear on the state news, don't believe what I hear on, from CNN or Fox on this situation. I believe what I hear from a guy that I know in Venezuela, and he tells me exactly what's going on. How much food he has. He's got no lights he didn't have lights for I don't know how many days. I said, where are you getting your food? And he said, well, we get cheese from one person here. We can't go to a store. There's no fuel. There's no money. And this guy is not even Venezuelan. He's Mexican that lived there because they married a Venezuelan. And let me tell you something. That's how you understand what the hell is going on. And how do I know? Because most people can't even get a message out. Well, the internet came up again and he was able to get a message out. So it's not a pretty situation. So all you people out there in America who want socialism, that's what you're going to get. And I'm telling you, that's what they want. Because they want 3 things: your mind, body, and soul. And they're going to get it one way or the other. And if you don't understand the Vatican situation, if you've never researched it, never thought about it, you're really missing the boat. It's so simple. I do stories on it all the time. Go back to, I like to take the facts and then expand on them. I'm not taking like I hate the Vatican because I was born Catholic and they were so crazy. No. The facts are very simple. When you understand first their role in scandals financially and all of their dealings money-wise, because that's important to them, then you'll start understanding. They spread their tentacles out like a viper all over the world with these holier-than-thou churches that do nothing but present a front for what they really are about. And then it gets deeper and deeper and deeper. And how do I know that? Because I lived in Rome during one of their biggest financial scandals in the world. Everybody knows it. They don't talk about it anymore. But man, if you were there in the 80s, 1980s, and saw it, you would... You'd be like me. You'd go, holy shit. I could not believe these people do this. You know? My church, the one that gave me first Holy Communion, first confirmation, was the greatest thing since sliced bread. It's doing this stuff. It's impossible, but it was possible. And so I learned the hard way. The hard way is the only way. And what did it do? It changed my belief system. I believed in the wrong things without knowing it. Because I was stupid. Because no one taught me that beliefs aren't important. No one ever does. Because people think they are their beliefs. They're not. Beliefs, folks, are fiction of your imagination, of the way you want things to be. And I end this half hour the same way I ended my first half hour. It's a fiction, your belief system. You don't know. There's no facts to base most of it. And you're led by the string, whether you're a Catholic who listens to the priest who says nice things at a Mass, or whether you're a Bible believer who looks at that book and thinks that's the way it is. I'm going to tell you one thing. It's not your beliefs. It's when you know something is the right way or the wrong way from what you've been told or read. And you'll know it. But it isn't belief. It has nothing to do with belief system. It has to do with the time you put in to believing the wrong and the right things until it starts to eat away at you so bad that you know you can't live that way anymore. It's like a round-robin circle. A never-ending circle till you finally look at it the right way. And how do you know? You don't. It's you that knows. Yes. That's why when a person came to me the other day and said, what do you believe about this? I said, I don't believe anything. And they go, you can't live that way. I said, oh, yes, you can. And it's a great way to live. Oh, sure, I believe things for a minute or two, and then I have to think about it. Everybody does. But man, people fall into that trap, and it's a devastating one. How would you like to end up dying believing the wrong things? What the hell is that? Can you imagine all the people that have died believing the wrong things? Or maybe the right things. And what do? Feel sorry for them? No, because they'll say, well, I've talked to someone who said, well, Once you believe something, that's where you're going. So if you believe you're an atheist, you're going to go nowhere. If you believe you're going to go to heaven, you're going to go to heaven. If you believe in Buddhism, you're going to be another person. You believe in Hinduism. That's a bunch of crock. Because it has nothing based on what you know. And then people say, well, how much can you know as a human being? Well, that's the mystery of life. And I think if you leave your belief systems open, you're going to know a lot more. And you're going to get a better chance to really understand things before you enter into that next world, which I have no idea what is. And I'd be a fool to say I did. And I know that goes against a lot of principles of Catholicism, Buddhism, Islam, Bible-believing Christians, Hinduism. But maybe not so much with certain people that think for themselves. Which I don't think there's a denomination or any kind of faith for that, right? We'll talk about that on another segment of, you know what this show is, the Investigatore Journal. Back tomorrow on the Investigative Journal.
The book of Revelation says, the spirit of prophecy is the testimony of Jesus Christ. This is at the very heart of FirstAmendmentRadio.com. In that spirit, we have created the Prophecy Reality News app for all of your mobile devices, streaming First Amendment Radio 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Available for your Apple, Android device, and smartphone, absolutely free. Get the Prophecy Reality News app installed today so you can listen to First Amendment Radio wherever you are. The Prophecy.
Since the beginning of time, kings have sought it, nations have fought for it. It has been traded, it has been borrowed, it has been purchased, it has been stolen. There's a reason for it. To secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and to our posterity. Invest with the security of gold and silver. Call Discount Gold and Silver Trading at 1-800-375-4188 or visit discountgoldandsilvertrading.net. Listen to Financial Survival with your host Melody Cedarstrom right here on FirstAmendmentRadio.com at 4 p.m. Eastern or 1 p.m. Pacific Time. Visit discountgoldandsilvertrading.net or call Discount Gold and Silver Trading at 1-800-375-4188. Toll free 1-800-375-4188.